All right, so today we're going to look at Peter Pan and how Peter Pan is actually a story of how an individual integrates all the different archetypal parts of themselves into one and makes life good. This video specifically is going to concentrate on the relationship between Captain Hook, the crocodile, Peter Pan, and the cufflinks Mr. Darling is looking for. Yeah.
But Mr. Darling...
Mary, unless I find my cufflinks, we don't go to the party.
All right, Mr. Peterson, let's hear it.
Well, who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook? First of all, you've got a hook. Second, you're a tyrant. And third, you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach, right? The crocodile. It's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you. And so Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter Pan looks at traumatized Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood for that.
All right, so Jordan Peterson says that Hook is a crusty old tyrant because he got his hand cut off and now he has a hook for a hand. And to Mr. Peterson's credit, I'll give him a 40% on this. Hook is mad that he only has one hand, but what's important is to remember which hand it is.
I'll teach you to cut off me hand.
Oh, no, John. It was the left hand.
Oh, yes. Thank
In the spiritual realm, there is things known as the right-hand path and the left-hand path. The right-hand path is marked by external authority, social and religious norms, tribe think, and so on and so forth. There's very little individuality, very little artistic expression, and very little trying new things, like going off the beaten path or whatever. The left-hand path, on the other hand, is all about personal spiritual liberation, being in the now, self-expression, and things as such. So Hook basically only has his right hand, so he's very reliant upon external control. He's very reliant on being the authority of those around him, representing the external authority. He's all about group think and, integrating people into the tribe and no individual expression. And he's kind of a crusty pirate because of this. Anytime he sees anyone living in the moment and expressing themselves with joy or happiness, he has to nip it in the bud. But at the same time, he's always running from the crocodile. And the crocodile in Hindu mythology represents overcoming large obstacles. It's the liminal space between like the conscious and the subconscious mind. It's about grand transformation of the self and things of this nature. As we're reminded in the Ganga Samhita, his head severed, the crocodile attained his original form of a demigod. Now, in Walt's Peter Pan, Peter is known as a demigod. He's the boy who's full of magic and self-stories.
my stories.
But they're all about you.
Of course. That's why I like them.
But magic is very much a left-hand path thing, and self-stories is very much, once again, like self-expression and knowing thyself, and more of an internal thing, right? Not the external control and authority that comes from like the right-hand path. And we also have to look at the fact that when they talk about the head being severed, it's about the identity. Anytime you see the face or the head, it usually refers to the current identity. In order to overcome a lot of these large obstacles in life, you have to sever certain parts of yourself that you identify with. And this is how we get over those large obstacles. So an example of these large obstacles that you will see commonly in life is, let's say it's time to move out and to decide what career you're going to do. You're moving out of the house. The right-hand path in a very hyperbolic way would be like, oh, my father did this career and he went to this school, therefore I am going to go and take up the same job and I'm going to go to the same university. A lot of external control and surrendering to groupthink and very little honoring the internal self. Whereas if we look at another extreme example of, like, let's say the left-hand path, it would be like, nope, I'm going to go and paint flowers and I don't know how I'm going to live and I'm only going to be in the here and now and I'm not even going to think about having a roof over my head. If you look at the combined form of them, maybe it is taking into account that your parents say you should do some sort of secondary education, but maybe instead of being a lawyer like your father was, who went to Harvard, maybe you're like, oh, no, 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 I want to be like an electrician. And yes, I will go to secondary school like my parents are encouraging yourself. This is how you integrate yourself, wanting to be like an electrician, and also integrating the right hand path, having some external authority encouraging you to go to secondary school. That's a combination. Now, something else in Peter Pan is a combination. It's the cufflinks. At the beginning of the movie, you'll notice that Mr. Darling is very concerned about looking for his cufflinks, whereas Mrs. Darling is like, hey, we're going to be late for the party. She's kind of like concentrated on the fun. It doesn't mean that she's irresponsible, but she just wants to have a little bit of fun and go. And Mr. Darling is very rigid and very external control and very these things.
George, dear, do hurry. We mustn't be late for the party, you know.
Mary, unless I find my cufflinks, we don't go to the party. And if we don't go to the party, I can never show my face in the office again. And if we can never go... Aye!
So, what does this have to do with the crocodile hook in Peter Pan? Well, the crocodile, as we know, has a piece of hook. Specifically, he has his left hand. And as we just reviewed in Hindu mythology, the crocodile is about those large obstacles that happen to us in our life. Now, this is where Mr. Peterson actually has a point.
Dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach, right? The crocodile, it's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you.
Where these large obstacles that come at us over time, whether it be career or house or who we're going to marry and things like that, no matter what we do, there are a lot of large decisions in life that come at us. But the thing is that if we don't integrate the left-hand part of ourselves, the thing that is within the crocodile, we tend to get very crusty, we tend to have no fun, we tend to just have a very bitter outlook towards life. Resentful, bitter, controlling, all these things are what Hook is. It's not that Peter Pan is necessarily a story about growing up, as so much a story about integrating the totality of oneself into life. The crocodile isn't so scary. These big obstacles aren't so scary once we learn how to uniquely choose what to do for ourselves, what is a genuine expression of our own choices, and how to creatively include them in life. This makes those things like deciding who to marry and so on and so forth not so scary. But this is also what kind of happens to Hook. Is he's crusty, he's controlling, he has no fun. People who are very dedicated to the right hand path actually very much have a hard time believing that responsibility and fun can be intermingled. And this is not the case. You can be very responsible while also having a lot of fun and a lot of self-expression. You learn how to do this by understanding that everyone has their own left-handedness. They have their own self-expression and their own stories. By integrating this, you don't have to have external control, but external connection. Once we realize that the crocodile and the time and the obstacles that are coming towards us aren't so scary, we learn that connecting this self-expression and this self-authenticity and this yearning for fun, while also being mature and responsible, that's the combination of the left-hand path and the right-hand path coming together. This is what cufflinks do. They link things together. This is why Mr. Darling at the beginning of the movie is really, really rigid. And then at the end, once the cufflinks are found and once like the crocodile has gotten Hook, this is why Mr. Darling at the end is a little bit more graceful, a little bit more forgiving, and he understands if Wendy wants to stay in the room.
Ready to grow up.
Well, my dear, all in good time. After all, perhaps we will.
Another really good visual metaphor of this that Walt sneaks in is at the end when Hook is covered by the pirate flag. He's like a symbol of like, he's got like the skull and the deathness over him, and he runs off into the sunset being chased by the crocodile. In mythology, anytime you see a sunset, it means, what is dead, what's no longer there, what's out of our lives, something we've gone past. And once again, like it was said in Hindu mythology, the ability to remove one's old identity and to move on makes you a demigod. It gives you the power to really handle anything life comes at you with an optimistic outlook. So, if Mr. Peterson was getting at the fact that time can be scary when it comes at you if you don't integrate your left hand pathness, then Mr. Peterson has it right. But I hope this just articulates it in a more clearer form for you guys. If you have any questions or if you want to give this video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Comment below what you think or any observations you've made, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with me. Have a great day.